This is Hard Rock Live, presented by Blue from American Express. Tonight, a performance by Mötley Crüe. With their explosive mixture of punk, glam, and metal, Mötley Crüe has become one of the biggest and most infamous bands in the history of rock and roll.
I just think we brought an attitude of a gang, guys liking to hang out together and make music.
Emerging from the Los Angeles rock scene of the early 80s, the band became as well known for their exploits as they were for their music.
In those early days of Mötley Crüe, alcohol and drugs played a big part of it.
Mötley Crüe has survived it all. Controversy, tragedy, lineup changes, and themselves. Now in their 19th year as a band, the Crüe have released a live album and are making plans to record new music.
People assumed that we wouldn't be around because we would never live to see the day. My band has overcome everything that there is to overcome, and we still write a great song.
Mötley Crüe was formed in 1981 in Los Angeles when bassist-songwriter Nicky Sixx decided to leave his current band London and start a new project.
I needed 3 or 4 other guys like myself that had nothing to live for other than this band. I definitely found it.
Nicky soon convinced 17-year-old drummer Tommy Lee to join him. The duo then set out to find a guitar player, answering an ad in a local paper.
Loud-rooted, aggressive guitarist available.
With the addition of Tommy's high school friend, singer Vince Neil, Mötley Crüe's lineup was set. Once the band began performing locally, they quickly made a name for themselves.
Here's 4 guys in stiletto heels, a ton of makeup, looking very much unlike anything that they've probably seen.
Major label interest soon surfaced, and the band released Too Fast for Love in 1982. By this point, Mötley Crüe had already settled into a rock and roll lifestyle.
We just like to party, which is drinking and drugs, and do it as much as you possibly can.
The Crüe's second album, Shout at the Devil, brought the band more success and controversy.
Shout at the Devil wasn't anything about Satanism. If anything, it was a statement about society.
Mötley Crüe's decadence soon resulted in tragedy. In 1984, Vince Neil was driving under the influence when his car crashed, killing his passenger and friend, Razzle, from the band Hanoi Rocks.
You know I'm a dreamer. There's a lot of therapists and a lot of crying. It's a hard thing, to be involved in something like that.
A more somber Mötley Crüe released their Theater of Pain album in 1985. Mötley Crüe were only 4 years into their career. The journey had just begun. Ladies and gentlemen, by 1986, Mötley Crüe had built a solid reputation for themselves with their heavy metal music and hedonistic attitudes. They had survived the tragedy of Vince Neil's car accident and were now enjoying the success of their latest glam-inspired album, Theater of Pain.
When we were, really into the glam look, when other bands started doing it, we wanted no part of it anymore. That's when we made the switch over to Girls, Girls, Girls.
Girls, Girls, Girls saw the band returning to a rawer look and sound. The band went out on tour and tragedy struck again when Nicky Sixx suffered a near-lethal drug overdose.
When I discovered heroin, I could care less about anything else. That was the most self-destructive period for Mötley Crüe. That led to why we did get sober.
In 1988, a newly sober Mötley Crüe went into the studio and emerged with what would become their first U.S. #1 album, Dr. Feelgood. The band may have seemed unstoppable, but changing musical styles and internal problems between band members were brewing. In 1992, Vince Neil left Mötley Crüe.
I was late for rehearsal one day, and they fired me. Then they turned around and said that I quit, so they kind of couldn't make up their mind.
The group hired singer John Corabi to replace Neil and released the album Mötley Crüe in 1994.
Red apples crawling through the night.
Without Neil as frontman, the Crüe did not match their earlier success. Meanwhile, Tommy Lee was suffering his own problems outside of the band. He and wife Pamela Anderson had become prime targets for the tabloid press.
A weekend wouldn't go by without me going out there confronting some dude hiding up in the trees with the long sports lens.
Although the band had begun recording a new album with Corabi on vocals, they decided to abandon the project. Then, in January of 1997, Vince Neil rejoined Mötley Crüe. The group released Generation Swine and went out on tour, but more changes were coming. In 1999, Tommy Lee left the band to be with his family and work on a solo career. The Crüe quickly recruited former Ozzy Osbourne drummer Randy Castillo.
I think I fit right in.
It's pretty
I got all the tattoos and I got all the jewelry.
In November of 1999, Mötley Crüe released their first live album, Entertainment or Death.
It's the same old situation.
Instead of being a concert, just one event, it's sort of lots of mini events. It's kind of cool. It shows the evolution.
Then the band set out to make new music together, the way they have been for the last 19 years.
We're a hard rock, heavy metal band. That's what we are. We're not going to be anything else but that.